Hi there, I wanted to demonstrate my brand new range that I'm so excited to be launching here at Hochanda. What I've done is actually brought to you a range of stencils and then a range of stamps. It's all about pattern building, it's all about creating something that looks really effective, but it's that little surprise where you take the stencil away and you see the white space and it really pops. It's really easy to do. Now what you need to do first of all is take the stencil. There's lots of different size stencils and there's some masks as well, so obviously you've got lots of different options which we'll go through in the live shows. Pop them in a box. Now this makes sure when you're spraying your adhesive you don't get adhesive all the way around the room. And then repositionable adhesive. Just give it a spray with the repositionable adhesive and that'll make sure that it sits in place on your cardstock. There we go. Normally you let it dry for a couple of seconds. And then what you want to do is just remove any excess adhesive. You can, if you want, put it on a little bit of scrap paper just to remove any adhesive off the back there, and then we're ready to start stamping. So first of all, we stick the stencil down onto a piece of cardstock. Use good quality cardstock because we do want to be doing lots of blending. Now in the range so far, I've created all these lovely little stamps. Now these are pattern building stamps. So they're just small stamps that you fill in and it allows you to create your own patterns. I want you to relax with this and really get into creating something different every time. So what we do, first of all, we're going to take our stencil and I want to create a real wow. So I'm going to use some inks for this. Now you can use any inks. I've got the colour blending here. So there's your colour cloud. You can use your distress inks. You can use spritzers. So please use what you've already got in your stash. So all I'm going to do first of all is take the ink and I'm just using my little sponge here. I'm removing the excess and building up that ink onto my mask. And don't worry about being too perfect. Obviously the mask will act as a resist, so the sponge, of course, I don't want it to go under that mask. So when I blend the ink out slightly, I'm not actually going under the mask. There we go. So just blending that ink gently. And this is why you want good quality cardstock. So you'll be able to create a really nice soft blend. We are going to be over stamping. So again, don't worry too much, but you will find this first burst of colour really accentuates the white space that we're going to achieve when we've created our lovely pattern building. So I'm going to do a little bit of blue, might do a bit more, just on this corner here. Just experiment with this. Every time it will be different. It'll be different because obviously you'll be using your stamps in a different way too. So that's a blue, and then I'm going to take a bit of my Scarlet Woman here. So this is a nice red. Pop it on, take off the excess because I don't want it too intense. You can build the colour up, but you can't take it away. And then work that over the top. Again, I'm just blending that out gently. So you get that nice blend with the inks. And also around the edges, you don't get that harsh line. It also lifts the ink from the stencil. So, because you don't need any ink on the stencil. There we go. So popping it on and then just blending it out. And I like the colours that you start creating as the colours blend together. They look really effective. There we are. Okay, we're ready. We're ready to actually start stamping. So the next section, we take our stamps. Now, use a small acrylic block. Mine's a little bit too big, to be honest. I've left mine at work, if the truth be known. So use an acrylic block and have a think about it. I want you to relax with this. It's all about the joy of creating a really pretty pattern. Think where you're going to start. I'm going to start with this nice long kite first of all, which actually I'll pop on this black block. I do apologise that it's a dirty block. I'm a crafter. And unfortunately, all my acrylic blocks are dirty. I mix paint on them and everything. Now, I'm using a black archival. I want it to be a dyeing because I want it to dry. Because afterwards, not only are we obviously pattern building, but we can then colour the image in. So you want that ink to dry. And then decide where you're going to place it. Now, the idea is we stamp over the stencil. So it emphasises that white space. So literally, pop your stamp down, press, and don't be scared to press. Pressing the stencil down will allow it to sit around comfortably around that stencil. And can you see, you've now got, it obviously hits the stencil, but it's going right round the stencil, so it's really snug round there. Now it's up to you, do I want one or two? I think I might add another one in there. One of the things to avoid, and this is what I do all the time, when I'm inking up, can you see I always hit the tips of my fingers? Be really careful with that because you're building patterns up, so that will obviously transfer onto your card. There are ways of obviously hiding any ink splatters that you'll build up, but it's easier if you're just aware of where your fingers are. And then add another layer there. So that's my little kites, first of all. Now, can you see if I've missed a bit? Again, don't worry too much. They are a clear stamp. You can go back in and over stamp, or if you're not confident with that, get yourself a drawing pen, like one of these fine liners. If you get yourself a drawing pen, you'll actually be able to just pick up that detail. To be honest, things like that don't really matter that much, as when you do colour your images in, you're not going to be able to see things like that. You can easily hide it with your colouring in. And now let's build up that image. So I'm just taking my stamps and playing. It's all about playing. If you think about, I don't know, the different mindfulness that we talk about when we're colouring in, that's the kind of thing that I want you to achieve here. So that really nice calmness that you get from crafting. And I love the way that the stamps work together. I'm really chuffed. Obviously there's a good stamp selection for you, so they all marry together. Don't think you just have to stick to the one set. And see this, can you see how I've made it hit the edge of my stencil so it looks like they're all coming off the end of the E there. And I like that. I like the way that you'll be able to use the stamps so they work beautifully with the actual stencil. And I'm going to put another one there. As you get used to it, if you want, try on scrap paper first of all, just to get used to the concept. But as you get used to it, you'll get really brave and you'll start to play. So I need to put some love hearts in, don't I? Because it's the word love. So we'll pop some little love hearts in here. It's nice building up the image, but it's really pretty then to be able to colour it in. And just remember, always work over that stencil. So you're getting into the detail of the word, but that will emphasise the white space that you're going to be creating. Now I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to build up my lovely pattern. Now then, you can see I've nearly filled the pattern in. What I've done is designed these little stamps. Now, these are great for filling bits in. So it might be that, I don't know, you've got a splodge of ink. You see, don't want that splodge of ink. That's where these little stamps are perfect. Go over your splodge of ink. You can then colour that in. It might be that, see within the O, we haven't got a stamped image in there. Again, this is where these little stamps are perfect. The whole idea is the actual stamping around that design will emphasize that design. It looks beautiful when you just do it in black and white, and that's when you really need to bear in mind how you're building up that pattern. Also, these little stamps are great if you have missed a bit, because again, you can fill them in. Now, we're ready. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when we bring that stencil off. Be careful when you bring the stencil off. Obviously, it has got ink on it, and I don't want you to get ink everywhere. And look at my mucky hands. Be careful of your mucky hands. Again, you don't want to touch the actual work, so just watch the ink transferring. I say this because I think I might be the messiest crafter alive. Okay. What we do is lift the stencil off. It's repositionable adhesive, so that should come away really easy. And look how that pops. So this is exactly what I want you to be able to achieve. that beautiful colour. So you've created your very own pattern that's going to be different every single time, and now we're ready to colour that in. You can colour it in with the beautiful inks you've stamped with your sparkle pens, with your water-based pens, with your alcohol pens. If of course you're stamping the right ink, it's completely up to you. I'm going to colour in with a few of my distress inks. There we go. As you can see, I've completely coloured it in. It's a really nice process of colouring in, really relaxing. Obviously around the edges, if you want to keep that stencil in place, take it off initially, clean it so you get rid of the black ink, and then put it back on again, and that'll allow you to colour around without going into the lines, because it's all about keeping that beautiful white space. If you find there's any residue of the glue, what I've done is just gone round the actual word with a paper stump, and that's actually removed any glue residue. I've then finished it off just with a little bit of Stencils glitter glue, and that's just highlighted some of those flowers. I really like it. Cut it down, mat and layer it onto your card, and there you've got your very own art piece.